Hey guys, my name is Rush. Welcome to the channel. A little confusing this one. So this intro I'm recording after I did the meat of this video, and in between that I've had a hair transplant, so I have no hair now. But you'll see me with hair, so that already is confusing. But just to give you some background on this video, so I put a video out about some of my life changes recently and how that's affected my YouTube channel. That video prompted a particular response from a user, and that response has led to me making this video. That makes sense. So a little confusing, a lot going on. But just to give context, I thought this was really important to do because I'm a middle-aged man. I've been through a lot in my my later years, so my late 20s, my 30s. As a family man, someone who's working full-time, you know, I've faced challenges, and I think the challenges I've faced, I think a lot of people can resonate with what I've been through. It's probably like a very common story that most guys go through, that live in the Western world, that go through the motions that I went through. So that's what this video is about, but it is in respect to the comments from that user. Videos like this, I know this channel is a fighting game channel. I make fighting game content. I'm not a life coach. I'm not, you know, an influencer. I'm not I don't know what else. What else would I throw in there? I'm just a regular ass guy. So this is like brutally honest information, you know, about myself that I'm sharing and insight into the shift in mindset. I'm not saying my life is perfect now and I'm rich. That's not what I'm saying in this video. I'm just trying to give perspective and help potentially. I don't want to say inspiration because that just sounds corny, but I'm trying to help people that are in a similar place to where I was about 10 years ago, basically. So that's the introduction. I'll probably go over a bit of this again in the actual main video, but I hope it gives some insight into what this video is about. So yes, it's not fighting game content, but we're all going through life. We're all going through ups and downs. And these things, if you're very young and you think this won't apply to you, I guarantee you some of what I say in this video will apply to you in the future. So it's a long video. It's not monetized. This is just a video, me reaching out to my audience, about some of my struggles and how I managed to overcome a number of things. And I'm still working on myself. I'm still working on a number of things. Just some perspective and some insight. So enjoy the video. So on this video, my head over this side, over here, this video over there, I did a few weeks ago. And I was talking about like where life is going. And I spoke about me traveling to Turkey to get a hair transplant and various other things, lots of things we spoke about. But I spoke about how what I'm trying to achieve in life now, the priority list of things has significantly shifted. And yeah, these days I'm living a very different lifestyle to how I was living last year or maybe like a couple of years back, Street Fighter 5 sort of time. And it's not a bad thing. Nothing stays the same. Everything changes, moves. Everything moves and progresses forward. Things never stay the same. But there was a comment from Unix JPN. I'll read the comment. I'll put it on screen, but I'll read it out as well. So Unix said, "I'm an old head and work IT, high stress. Everything is P1." If you don't know, P1 is like highest priority issue. So like everything down, users can't log in, a specific important system is not functioning, where it's costing a lot of money for the most part. So that's generally what a P1 is in the IT world. Suffer from GERDs, that's an issue with like digestion, and I think that relates to acid reflux as well. I have suffered with that. Ulcerative colitis, I've heard about that. I think that's where you've got like cysts, maybe not cysts, but like areas of the bowels, like the intestines that are damaged. And 3 years older than you are with 2 kids, wife left and living alone, thinking what the future holds. It seems like age 40 is where things start to go downhill, and really living life, reflecting back as well. My kids are my number one priority. I spend all my free time just gaming, as I have no friends to think about. I have no friends, full stop. To think about it, I've been gaming since I was a child with Nez, but I have friends come over and play video games when I was a kid. I miss high school and college where I had friends, but they're all living their own lives. I respect your videos as always. Enjoy the content you create. Hope your surgery goes well. So I appreciate that, Unix. Thank you for that. And I appreciate the comments. So I feel sharing like that amount of detail online it's very brave to do that. You know, people will say it's just a comment. It isn't. Like, to share that kind of video, like, I really appreciate it. There's a lot I mean, that comment comes from some of the things I said about my digestive issues and some of the challenges I have faced, but I didn't go into too much detail. But I draw a lot of similarities to that comment with my own path that I was on. And the crux of this video is, and I'm not sharing this because I just want to talk about me, but I'm going to talk about where I was in my early 30s, because I feel like where I was in my early 30s was very similar to this. And what I've done is I've managed to pave a better path for my 40s. 40s are still tough, but I think my 40s would have been a hell of a lot worse if I didn't put the work in from, it was about the age of like 33, 34 up to now. I'm 42 in September. So you're talking 6 or 7. It is 6 or 7 years of a different path. So I'm going to tell you a bit about my story. I don't want to go into too much detail because I've mentioned this many, many times on streams before. We've spoke about certain aspects of this. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I do have to provide a significant amount of detail to paint a picture. So, I mean, if I go way, way back, I don't want to go too far back, but I'm going to have to go way, way back. I grew up, I've got a brother, younger brother, so I was the eldest. Mum and dad, dad very quiet, didn't really get too involved with like the kids, and mum was the one heavily involved with like the day-to-day runnings, and she was the parent that was strict. I feel like there's always one parent that's more strict than the other. My mother was the strict parent, and a teacher as well. She's a teacher, retired now. And I'm not judging anyone, I'm not blaming anyone. I take full accountability for where my life is now. But my upbringing, I know how that's influenced the person I am today. I can see the behaviors and where that stems from. And that's key with anyone. Understanding your weaknesses as a person, whether it be mental or physical, whatever, is super critical for growth. So I was very oblivious to my weaknesses. I just behaved in certain ways, but I didn't know why. But it does stem back to my childhood. I'm not going to go into much detail into that, but it does stem back to my childhood. Fast forward to when I was 16, I knew this girl at school. We got together, and that was a long-term relationship. My long-term relationship, that's really, I have had other relationships prior to them, but they don't really count at that age. Like, what is a relationship? But yeah, we got together at 16, and we were together. It was just shy of 20 years. So you're talking boyfriend, girlfriend. We moved in together. We got married. We have 3 kids, and the relationship came to an end. And we'll talk about that when we get to that stage of the story. But got together very young. Didn't really discuss my future, like what I want. She didn't discuss what she wanted. We were very young. We just were living in the moment and wanted to be in each other's company, which I think is common for like people that are young at that age in a relationship. Parents weren't too happy about the relationship. I mean, they didn't shut it down, but as time went on, they realized that they became issues. And long story short, by the age of like 19, I think it was, I moved out. So I went to university, but from university, I never really came back. I lived out. And studying, I was working. I think at a time I was working 2 jobs. It was very difficult, like my early years. And in some respects, not in some respects, I've always been a grafter. I've always been like a goal-getter for things that I want. But I wasn't really working towards a future because I didn't have a plan, and neither did she. We didn't have a plan. Didn't really know what we were doing. Just, again, living day to day, just with no real aspirations or goals, just wants and desires. We didn't even, I suppose even then, we didn't even speak about too much, because that would be part of your desires for the future and things. We didn't really go into detail. And we were just living life. We were just living the moment, doing stuff, you know, making money, spending money, getting into debt. And that continued on until like mid-20s. I got a job, went to Saudi Arabia to work. It was meant to be 6 months, but I ended up staying there for 3 years. during that time, we got married. So we probably would have got married in the future anyway, but we got married more so because she couldn't come out to Saudi Arabia unless we were married. Being a Muslim country, that's just the rules there. We got married whilst I was out there. And after we got married, about a year later, we planned to have our first child. We have our first child. And this is where things started to fall apart significantly. So I already had issues. So I've done this video twice now. So the first time I did this video, I said that I was quite mentally immature. I was not like I wasn't thinking and behaving like a grown adult. And that's actually incorrect. I'd say that my issue was that I didn't understand some of my behaviors, as I said earlier, but also I didn't word it. I wanted everything to be perfect. And my mindset was, if life isn't perfect, then there's a problem. I've been brought up in a way where if it's not perfect or it's not good, then it's not good enough. And I put that pressure on myself because of the environment. I didn't like to make mistakes. I didn't like to upset people. I didn't like people feeling negative towards me. I didn't like people feeling negative. I didn't want to be the reason for people to feel bad. A lot of stuff going on in my head, and I carried that through to my adult years, and I wanted everything to be perfect. If that's not going well, I'd get frustrated. If that's not going well, I'd get frustrated. Frustrated. I was always annoyed, frustrated with everything not going the way I wanted to go. And now, the age of 41, I understand, like, you have a plan, but your plan is not going to go to plan. It deviates so much. But I mean, most people that are watching this will be like, well, that's obvious. That's going to happen. Yes, it's obvious. But to me, as a young adult, I didn't have those expectations. I didn't have that understanding. And that really made like the foundation of my involvement in this relationship and my understanding of myself quite fragile. I didn't really understand what I was doing in situations. I wasn't turning up or presenting myself in the best way mentally, what I'm trying to say. So after my son was born, so our eldest, the day after, I herniated a disc, and my back was on its way out. I could feel, to be fair, I'm suffering. It's funny enough, it's ironic actually, I'm suffering right now. I've always had problems with my lower back because of this disc. It's definitely it's a degenerated disc. It's reduced in size. Been for a lot of abuse, just misuse. And it bothers me to this day. Like, at the moment now, I've got like muscle spasm all around my right-hand side because of the bad back, and I've been abusing it. But I know now I'm older, how to manage the pain and how to manage it. I haven't been managing it very well. If I'm not careful now, it will get very, very bad, and I don't want that. But after my son was born, there was a build-up, very busy, very stressed, and my back just said, you know what, that's it. It's over for you. And my back went so bad that I couldn't even walk. I remember me waking up, having to roll off the bed onto the floor, not even crawl. I had to drag myself from the bedroom. This was like not a studio apartment. It's a one-bed apartment at the time, because it was a temporary place for my now ex and my first son to live whilst I was in Saudi Arabia. It's very complicated, this story, but we have the house now, and the house we lived in, the family home with the mortgage, we put that on rent whilst I was in Saudi. But then she ended up leaving Saudi, coming back and renting a small flat. I crawled from the bedroom to the kitchen, and I had to hold the kitchen side, climb up. My legs just were not working. I could stand on my legs, but I couldn't hold the weight of my body above my legs because my lower back just couldn't take the pressure and the pain. It was just really, really bad. That was the catalyst for like my downfall, because I had to word this. I was already a mess, but it was quite like, it was manageable, or people didn't really realize how much of a mess I was. But that lower back pain triggered the worst in me. It made me miserable. I was in pain I've been in pain, like chronic pain, for decades now. Because that would have been like, well, not decades, 15 years. But I learned to manage the pain. But back then I didn't know how to manage the pain. I was suffering. I was taking it out on everybody around me. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want people to see me like this. It was really difficult, and I ended up leaving Saudi Arabia because of the pain that was in it. And like, they didn't want me to leave. they said, look, just take as long as you want. If you can get on your laptop sometimes to do a bit of work, that's fine. That's good enough. And I said, look, I've been in and out of work for the last X amount of months. I feel awful. I just want to go home. I'm just done with this situation now. I'm not getting any better. Specialists, it's not helping, the exercises and the consultation I was having with them. It wasn't going anywhere, but I refused surgery. I said, I'm not going to have surgery in my lower back. I'm not doing it. So I moved back, had to readjust to like living in the UK. And I spent a few months out of work. And that company I was working for that sent me to Saudi Arabia, I wasn't employed by them anymore. It's weird. So I had a contract with the UK company, but when I moved to Saudi Arabia, I transferred the contract to a Saudi contract. So when I left Saudi, I was technically unemployed. But a job came up with that place. I joined that job, got the job, and they never told me about the ins and outs of it. I never really asked. I didn't think that this was a factor, but it was a night shift job. So it was not night shift. It was a continental shifts, 4 days on, 4 days off, 4 nights on, 4 days off, 4 days on, rinse and repeat. And I didn't know that was the case, but that is a factor because the nights was never something I wanted to do. And that really messed me up in a different way. But that's where my stomach issue started. So this talks back to the comments, Unix's comment about reflux GERDs. And I haven't got the ulcerative colitis. So to explain there, so I'm already suffering my back. It's really hard for me to commute, get to work a full day. The back pain, but the pain I was in with my back was horrendous. I was not nice to be around at home. I was miserable. Some days I'd just spend the whole day lying on the floor. So I wasn't really doing much with my child at the time. He was like 1 or 2 by then. And can you imagine from my ex's perspective, it was hell. It was literally hell living with me because of the issues I was going through. And I get it. You know, people say that if one of you are going through things, the other one's got to be there for you. It is true, but there's only so much you can take. And I was terrible, but then my stomach issue started. And my stomach issue started, yes, because of the nights, that's one factor, but it was the stress of the job. We were treated very badly at that job, very badly. We were second line. I was like second line / third line engineer in an environment where no one knew what they were doing. It was very, very stressful. New things were coming in. We were trying to troubleshoot on the fly. It was just a complete mess. Tension was really high. We were being micromanaged. We were being watched. So where we sat, so I'd say now if I'm sat at my desk working, I'd have another second line guy sitting next to me, but behind was like management and third line, and they could see your screens. Your screens are there. They could see everything you're doing. It was a really horrible environment, and nobody wanted to be on this project. But it was so stressful. I saw contractors come in. They either left because they were like, "This is ridiculous," or they got sacked because they were just people just like. The management team were just like, they're not good enough. They are not going to be able to work to the standard we expect. And they just got rid of them. It was brutal. It was brutal. But that's where my stomach issue started. I had severe stomach problems, bloating, couldn't go to the toilet. It was, I don't want to go into too much detail about this, but imagine food goes in, food doesn't come out, and it's all just stuck. I've got reflux. My belly's bloated. I can feel gas just bouncing around the place. I was in a mess. Again, saw specialists. They labelled it as IBS. Didn't really get any help. So again, that's more stress now. My stomach, big problem. Digestive issues, bad back. Completely lost my way. I was in the gym as well. I think the gym is partly why my back went. It was part of the reason. I wasn't lifting properly. So I was just my mid-30s were not mid-30s, my early 30s were horrendous. And I didn't take particularly good care of myself. I didn't really take any care of my hair, my face. I didn't use anything to improve my appearance. My clothes were just I didn't dress bad, but I didn't dress good. Didn't really take much. I was how to explain it? I was very I'm very OCD. I'm very clean. So hygiene was never an issue, but I didn't really take much care of my the aesthetics, basically what I'm trying to say. So at that point, I was frustrated with my now ex just because of the situation I was in, but I was kind of putting the stress on her because she's stressed. She wasn't nice to be around because of the way I was behaving. So we didn't really enjoy our time together. It was horrible, and I really feel for my eldest now. My eldest, he's probably too young to remember it, which is good, but I remember it being a really horrible just horrible, horrible time for me in life. And again, sorry to go on so long and paint this picture, this story for you, but when I was at that point, I was really low and I did not see any light at the end of the tunnel. I was telling my ex, now ex, but at the time, you know, you may as well just leave me. I just feel awful. I don't know what to do. I'm really struggling. I said, you're better off not being with me. I remember saying that. But this progressed, and then we had further issues. Didn't really get them sorted. Somehow a conversation about another child came into the equation. We had another child. We had two. We had twins, and it was kind of planned, unplanned. It wasn't really planned. It wasn't the best time to do this. We were really rocky. That happened, and that was probably. And it's not the twins. It's not their fault, and it's not. There's no blame on them. It's not anything to do with them. But that situation of having twins, 5 of us now, was probably the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say. I think we just both mentally shut down. We were just done with each other. The pregnancy was difficult for her. She had to leave her job just because it was, again, challenging, difficult. It just wasn't easy. Then we were living off one salary. Yeah, I'd say, I wouldn't say I hated her, but I really resented her. And I think I don't want to speak on her behalf too much, but I do think she significantly disliked me at that point. It was bad, really bad. You got to think it's these layers of issues on top of that poor foundation. My mind was not right. I didn't understand who I was, what's going on, why I am the way I am. I was sick and tired of life being so not perfect. Like, it was beyond not perfect, but again, life's never meant to be perfect. That's not the way life works. Yeah, we broke up. We split up. It wasn't something either of us planned. It was something that it was a sequence of events that led to me just saying, I'm done. Yeah, this is it now. I moved in with my parents. We never really got on. I appreciate them taking me in, but trying to live with them, with our issues, now with 3 children. So the 3 children were there on the weekend. Excuse me. That was difficult for them because it was just, you know, the twins were young. My youngest son, one of the twins, he's a handful. I won't lie to you, he's a handful. He's a handful when he was younger, he's a handful now. So that was very stressful for me. And I think seeing the stress I was under was very stressful for them in that situation. And then, obviously, at that time, I was going through heartbreak. I'd broken up with somebody that I thought I'd be with for the rest of my life. It was devastating. But something happens. This is where everything changed, and there's stages to this change. But when that happened, and I won't lie to you guys, I'll be honest, my goal was get the girl back. And the only way I could see to get the girl back was to better myself. So first and foremost, the easiest thing to do in that situation was get a better haircut. I know it sounds stupid, but get a better haircut. I had more hair back then than I do now. So start actually going to a proper barber's. It took me a long time to find the right barber. It took me ages to find the style on the right barber, but I found a barber, had a style in mind of like my hair that I wanted. Funny enough, it was actually like I was watching Chris Heria videos at the time, if you know Chris Heria, and his sort of like hairstyle. I didn't have the hair for his hairstyle. Kind of inspired the look that I went for, type thing. Like a low, I don't know what you call it. So I've got like the sides quite bushy here, but then I have like I don't even have a fade anymore now. I just have it like a fade into like a 1 on the sides. It hasn't been cut for a while actually. But yeah, different hairstyle. Really lock in with the gym and make sure those lifts were, you know, building strength, building size, but lifting properly. I've got the gear here. I've said on a few videos. I've got a squat rack here. I've got loads of gear here. I have been on and off recently. I'll be honest. I've been slacking with the gym, but it's because I've been locking in with life just generally. So I did that. I was putting size on, and I started buying like clothes, like that. Stuff that I kind of knew what I liked clothing wise, but I never really spent that much money on clothes. I started buying nice clothes and stuff. So my entire appearance changed quite dramatically. But then the mindset was the big thing. So I do believe you can't change your core personality. I stand by that, and I've said that before. But elements of my personality I wanted to work on. I looked at things like confidence. I looked at how, you know, I am an introverted person. I don't like going out much and making the time for, it's bad to say how to word it. Like, I wouldn't really make the time to go out and see people as much as I should. So I was going out more, being like more sociable and things. And it changed my perspective a lot about who I was. I realized that the way I was living, just work, kids, stay at home, don't do much. I mean, at the time, before my YouTube stuff started, I was into cars. So I was part of a car club. I was really into doing things in my car and doing track days, really into that. So like I was in a social circle when it came to the car, but outside of that, I didn't really, other than seeing my close school friends, didn't really see many people, didn't really do many family things. Being a bit more sociable and getting out there and things started to change. I tried to see how life significantly got better for me. I could see that. I was like, wow, like, you know, feel better myself. I'm actually liking the person I see in the reflection. I never really looked at the person I saw in the reflection back before. Never really cared about who I saw. I obviously made myself presentable enough, but I didn't really care too much. It was mostly about like hygiene, I guess. It wasn't about like being. The word now is looks maxim, right? I don't want to use that term, but I didn't really tap into anything in terms of to make myself look better. So I felt a lot better. And being in the gym, like my back pain started to subside. I was feeling better. I felt more athletic. I felt stronger, and people could see it. And it does change when you are in the gym and you're taking care of yourself. People do treat you differently. When you look good, people do treat you differently. I'm not saying get plastic surgery and go mental and like proper just do yourself up to look good. Start wearing mascara, or if that's even a thing anymore now. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like tap into like your looks and stuff to improve your appearance a bit. It makes a big difference. But again, I was doing all that to win the girl back. Really stupid, really stupid. And I was doing this. I'm not gonna lie to you. We were on and off here and there. It was getting really messy. And I did say to my ex, this is my ex then, but my ex now, that I said, we continue to do this, it's going to mess up our relationship even more, to make it more complicated. But we continue to do it. But then something happens. I realized that, you know, I'm on the up in terms of life in many, many ways. I think financially was the big problem. Actually, I missed a significant step. So I actually moved out from my parents. I didn't stay there very long because we didn't get on very well, which was no surprise because we didn't get on very well before. In terms of living together, I don't think living with your parents is very good anyway. If you get on with them, it's fine. But if you don't get on with them, not a good idea. It's not healthy for them either. And at that time, that's when I was playing Street Fighter 5. That's when I was streaming quite regularly on Twitch from that. Not this apartment; it was the last apartment. It was tough. That's when COVID happened as well. But during all this time, something changed. Where I realized, it took me a long time to realize that I was living completely wrong. I was living to impress other people still. I wanted to win her back. I was still living for approval. And something just switched in my head where I was like, you know what? I need to start really focusing on me. When it comes to finance, focus on me. When it comes to time is the big thing. When it comes to time, focus on me. Really put that time into building myself up and changing my life. And it's hard. I'm just like everyone else. Like there's nothing special about me at all in terms of like, there's no secret. I just told myself, like, come on, Rush, make use of the time. Come on, stop messing around, stop procrastinating, stop wasting hours. And again, talking back to the comments, I'm not judging Unix by any means here, but if you are spending all your free time gaming, that's not gonna help your mental state. And I get it. Like I gamed a hell of a lot when I was younger. I did game a lot. But when you're our age, you know, middle-aged, 30, I'd even say like mid-20s, we're on a mission to build a foundation that's solid for ourselves, for any future relationships, for our children. I'm not saying you're not there for your children. I'm not saying that. It sounds like you are. I'm sure you are. You said the number one priority, as they are for me. But I would say that I wouldn't say my kids are my number one priority, because my logic is, if I'm not the number one priority and on top of my game, on top of my shit, I can't put my best foot forward for them. So I've got to take care of myself first, in terms of I've got to be on my grind and be focused, because that enables me to show up the best for them. And I think maybe that's where there's a difference here. And that only came with that shift because of the breakup. So I try to be ahead of the game. For me, my key, obviously give advice to anyone on how to improve quality of life. I would say, and it's hard because I know some things I'm going to say won't suit certain people. So number one, make use of your free time. You can have your chill time, but do the stuff that's important first. And that involves, for me, making lists every day. I haven't got a phone to hand, but every day on my sticky notes or my note, I think it's Google Keep I use. I put a list of things that I need to do. They're like critical things, not critical, but important things I need to do tomorrow. And I will see what's those things. So now I've got a list made tomorrow, but I've added some things today that I want to do today. And I'll try my best to get through that list. Does it happen all the time? No, it does not, because as I said to you, life isn't perfect. But key things that I try and blast through in the day. Do I have my chill time? Of course I do. Like my kids aren't here today, so I will chill or have a bit of downtime, slow time to myself. I will be on my phone scrolling, even though mobile phone and scrolling is the worst thing ever. It's not productive at all. Just that little dopamine hit. I go on my phone, I do scroll, I do read your comments on YouTube. I do that. I'm human. But I try not to waste too much time. I try not to procrastinate too long, and that's like key. So having a list of things you're going to do tomorrow that are important to you. Like I've got, so I can't really work out too well now because of the muscle spasm in my side. So I'm going to still do a workout of some form. I'm supposed to be doing legs today, so I don't know how I'm going to do that because that's what triggered this to start. It actually was the workout that finished me off again. And I plan to have like a hot soak in the bath just to, release some of that tension in the muscles later on. I know it sounds weird me saying that, but these are just some of the things I need to do. I've actually got to jump back on my laptop for work to do something at 8 p.m. So it's outside office hours, but I've got something to do. I want to go and grab some shopping because the kids, they're off on holiday, but they're with me tomorrow. So I want to get some shopping in as well. I'll go to the shop and that'll give me time to go for a walk as well. So these are the sort of things that I put on my list. These are the simple things. Other things that I had on my list today were like my work tasks. Then I had a video I had on there that, do this video, get this thumbnail ready. And I think I've even put on there, like, give the place a good tidy up again because the kids are coming. So that sort of stuff, just day-to-day stuff. But then I have my longer term, like my goals that are not goals, my tasks that need to be done, which won't happen tomorrow, but I've got to remember to do these things. So I can do them in the next week or so, have them as well. That keeps me on top of all my tasks. So being top of tasks, being planned before the next day, sleep. Getting good sleep is so important, and getting like quality sleep. For me, being on devices before I go to bed messes up my sleep, it really does. So having a good wind down routine, doing some reading or writing before bed, relax. And for me, I need to be in bed before 11 because if I sleep after 11, I feel groggy the next day. It's weird. I can get 7-8 hours sleep after 11 p.m. but I'll still feel like ass. I can get like 5 hours, 6 hours sleep after 11. I still feel terrible. But if I go to bed at 10:30, no matter how many hours I get, I generally feel good. I aim for 7. 7's what I aim for. But I generally get better. I feel better the next day if I sleep by about 10:30 to 11. Going to bed at 12, I always feel groggy the next day. Getting good sleep, getting outdoors, like walking, getting outdoors. The sun's out now. Get outdoors, do things, lift weights, be active. Super important, really important. You don't need people for that, just to go for a walk. Don't be on your phone scrolling whilst you're walking. I'd say sometimes don't even listen to music. Just go for a walk and just be outside, like fully outside. Get away from all the electronics and stuff. It makes a big difference. Lifting, I do think lifting is a really important thing. It's not just good because, strength, building strength, like strength that you don't need, like excessive amounts of strength. Yes, that's not super important, but I'd say, and aesthetics, it's not super important, but lifting weights is good. It makes you feel good. That's the first thing. Secondly, as we age, we lose muscle mass. So lifting heavy and consistently is super important for that reason as well. But yes, when you look better in the mirror, when you're losing weight, the dopamine you get of these endorphins, isn't it? Sorry, the endorphins you get from lifting makes you feel better. definitely does. I highly recommend you don't, that you start doing, not saying you Unix, I'm saying to just in general, to better yourself, start doing some form of exercise. I'd say the other main thing is diet. Diet's super important as well. Like for me, when I go back to like my stomach issues, I've had significant stomach problems recently, very, very bad. And I've had to, the only way to explain it is I've had to change my diet numerous times to trial different types of foods to see what's going on. And if I were to summarize it quickly, what I've realized most recently is low FODMAP foods are really good for me. Really helps my stomach and my gut. I don't eat as much as I used to, which is also a concern because if I'm lifting, I need to eat more. So that's probably a problem there, but eating less helps. Cutting out dairy for sure does help. Caffeine, cutting out caffeine helps. Something I started doing recently is I've been upping my kefir intake. I do like natural yogurt, but that is helping my system work. That's all I can really say. And I think as you age, your digestion does slow down. You do have more problems as you get older. That's why it's so critical to be on top of these things. So to eat the right foods for you, to not eat late at night. For me, it's weird, but when I have the kefir, when I have acid reflux, I have the kefir, it helps. I don't know why. It seems to neutralize the stomach acid. It's crazy. So that's been a massive win for me recently because I've realized that's helping. And I haven't had acid reflux for absolutely ages. And when I go out to eat, I have to pick sensible options. It's tough because I never have dessert. I've never really been someone to have fizzy drinks, but I don't have fizzy drinks at all now. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I used to drink socially the last like decade or so. Don't drink at all now because alcohol really upsets my stomach. I've just had to do things for me. Everything I've had to do recently is for me. If something doesn't work for me, if someone wants me to do something and I don't want to do it, and I really don't, I will say no. If I say yes to something, I'm having doubts about it. One thing I do now is I stick to my word. If I say something, I'll always follow through, whether I like it or not. But I will make sure that I say no to things to avoid those situations where I'm feeling resentful for saying yes for something. When I feel bad for people, I don't know, maybe it's empathy, maybe it's because I'm not doing what they want me to do. I don't dwell on it. I don't think about it too much. Like I will have those feelings, but I won't dwell. It is what it is. If you don't like my decision, that's my decision. I have my reasons for it. If you want to know my reasons, I'll give them, but I won't over-explain myself anymore. I won't justify myself anymore. I know what I'm doing is right for me, and I understand now, and I never really understood this before. I know now that it will upset people, but I'm doing what's right for me. And what's right for me may not be the right thing, but I'm more confident in doing what I want to do. My weaknesses I spoke about before, I'm very aware of my weaknesses. So if my weaknesses start cropping up, like if I feel anxiety towards something social because I don't know the people or don't know the environment, I'm fully aware of it. So I will make sure that like I'm prepared for that scenario. Last thing you want is to be rushing around and not showing up to something like that your best, because that's going to plan your mind even more. There's a whole host of things. I'm just very more aware of how I behave in certain scenarios, so I can manage those scenarios better. That makes sense. And that's such a planning ahead and building up these skill sets and this awareness has helped me so much. I do think I've got like some form of like ADHD or I don't know, something like that. I think a lot of people have got it, but you know, it's how extreme it is. I do think there's things going on in my head that definitely aren't normal. But again, I understand it. I didn't understand it before, but I understand these things and I'm better at managing those scenarios. Do you know what I mean? So an example is where I am doing something that I don't want to do. Before, I'd be in a huff and a puff about it. Like people would see that, like, okay, he said he would do this, but I can tell he doesn't want to do it. I don't show up like that now. Like many times in like crisis when things are going wrong and I have to do things, whether it's like I have to physically do it, I have to spend my time doing it, or it's a financial thing. because I'm in a much better place, I'm much more stable mentally, financially, in life, I'm more stable. I may not want to do it, but in my opinion, I think the life of a man with like family that are dependent on him, whether it is my ex, whether it's my kids, it's my responsibility to show up. I think that's a big thing for me. I wasn't really taking responsibility or really showing up in the right way before, whereas now I do show up in the right way. At the same time, like I said, I make sure that I do the things that I need to do for me. So last like year or so, I've really been invested in my job a lot. And I have been taking more chill out time as well, I'd say. It is weird for me. I don't normally like put my feet up and relax, but I've been doing that more. But those, again, are for me. I've really invested in my job because I've tried to be better at my job. So my job, my days at work are not as stressful. I've tried to build my skill set up, which has been recognized, and I've gained awards out of it from work. I've been focused on that time with my kids and my chill time. When I say chill time, I'm not saying chill with me. I'm saying sometimes I'm chilling with my kids. I relax more. I'm more relaxed and chill with the kids. We spend more time together. I go out more. Maybe I'm not lifting weights as much as I should at the moment, but I'm definitely getting out and doing more walking. All these things are for me and for my kids, and have paid off. And I could ramble on about this for a long, long time, but I definitely wasn't this way when I was in that poor headspace in my 30s. What I've been through in this like transition has been super uncomfortable. It's been super uncomfortable. I've had to do things that I don't want to do, and I've had to face a lot of fears and scenarios that I either didn't accept or I didn't even know were an issue. But really delving into those demons has helped a lot with where I am today. And I'm grateful for myself going through that long, painful process to get where I am now. Again, I'm going to hold my hand up. I'm going to be honest with you guys. At the moment, I'd say I'm slacking a little bit. There's some things I could be doing a lot better. Work is good. Kids are good. But for me, I'm probably slacking in certain areas. And I need to rein in the procrastination, get back on my game with those things. It is the YouTube. The YouTube is definitely feeling the effect of my new lifestyle, and because of the extra chill time that I have. My gym progress it's there. I'm just not consistent with it, but that is a time factor more than anything else. But I should still make the time to be consistently lifting. So there's a lot of things I can still do at the moment, for sure. Yeah, a lot of information, a lot of rambling on, but to summarize, what I'm trying to say is you'd be surprised how much you can change your life if you really put your mind to it. It is hard. It's so hard to be locked in. I hate that phrase, locked in, because everybody says it, but it's really hard to be locked in, be dedicated, to be consistent, to show up, especially when you're by yourself as well. I also am quite by myself and isolated. My kids are with me for a portion of half the week, usually the weekends. I speak to my friends regularly on WhatsApp, but I don't see them. I can't even remember the last time I saw. I do remember. We went for a hike. In Telford, a little hill mountain type thing. It was good. But that took a long time to plan that. We don't see each other very regularly, but we do talk a lot in the group chat. I don't game very much at all. Like even Street Fighter 6, I barely play Street Fighter 6 because I know if I put too much time into Street Fighter 6, all the other things in my life will start getting worse because I'm not getting stuff done that I need to do. So not much game time now. Definitely getting outdoors. That's why I feel much better in myself. It's tough. It is lonely. It is tough. It is difficult. But I think the focus should be not just Unix. I'm just talking in general. Got to focus on yourself. Got to look inwards. Got to accept the harsh realities, but never say to yourself that this is it. This is how it's going to be. Like, I know, again, being honest, I know I'm 41 now. I know. So if I was hard to do this on this camera, this is like the beginning of life, the left-hand side. I've like grown up and, things have happened, and now 40. This is the midpoint. I could live till I'm 60. I could die in 20 years. Who knows? But 40 years old, and now I'm not really on a trajectory, because no matter what anyone says, I'm getting older. The greys are showing. I feel more achy, more tired. It's hard now at this age. I can still push myself and achieve amazing things, but I'm working against the grain now. My body's just doing this. So it's going to be tough, but I can feel that I've still got a lot of potential to tap into. It's not potential I had maybe 7 years ago, but it is still a lot of potential that isn't tapped into. So I say to you guys and to you, Unix, trust me, there's so much you can do. You've just got to believe you can do it. And thing is, you can do it. If I can do it, and trust me, like I was in my 30s, I was just a complete mess and I didn't know it. But if I can achieve it, trust me, you can do it too. And I really, really mean that. I do wonder, I don't know, like I don't make many of these videos anymore because it's like more life stuff. But my Discord, my Discord is closed off. I only invite certain people because basically weird people join the Discord and they're weird. And I don't really know them. So people join the Discord and I don't know them and they start behaving in a certain way. It doesn't really gel well with the community I've got there, if that makes sense. But I'm more than happy to open up the Discord to people that want to join. If you play Street Fighter, you're welcome to join. If you play Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6, especially if you play Street Fighter 5, please join. We need people. If you play City of the Wolves, you're free to join. Those are really the 3 games that we discuss. Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6, City of the Wolves. That's what we play in the Discord. But most of us in the Discord are family men. We've got kids. We've got responsibilities. We're middle-aged. There's some people in there that are much younger, but we still have discussions about life and stuff. If you want to join, because you resonate with this video, you resonate perhaps with me, you want to have like more intimate discussions with like myself and everyone in there. I don't really DM, like people on my Discord sometimes DM me and I don't really talk too much in my DMs because when it's DMs, then it starts becoming too much because there's too many conversations, too many things to keep on top of. But if it's in the Discord, it's not just me that's involved. There's many other people in similar situations that are in the Discord. It's a community thing. We share our life, our ups and downs of life in that Discord. And we, you know, like it's a buzz to see people that I know through Street Fighter doing well in life. When we've hit a low, it's nice to be able to talk to people about the lows that I've hit in there. You can be in the Discord, not even speak if you want to be, but you're more than welcome to join if that's a good place for people, again, who resonate with this video and this sort of topic to talk. You can talk about Street Fighter and run sets. We can go over like advice with Street Fighter. We can talk about anything. I talk about cars at the moment because I've recently purchased a rather nice vehicle and it's already crippling my finances. So there's a few car conversations in there at the moment, but yeah, it's a weird video. It's a weird video. The comment itself was very touching and it got to me, and I needed to speak on it. I know I feel like people are kind of not engaging with the channel at the moment, and they're kind of sick and tired of like my Street Fighter 6 content. I'm sorry if you're not happy with the content, but that's the way life is going right now. I can't play 6 as much as I want to, but this stuff is very important to me. And I feel like I should do more of this on the channel for sure. There's topics that I've spoken about in this video. If it interests you and you want to know more about those specific topics, I'm happy to break out into separate videos and discuss those things in more detail. I've got nothing to hide. The only thing I will say is I don't want to share too much detail about my life when it comes to other people. That's the only thing I want to be conscious of. Because I definitely overshared in my last few videos where I did this sort of stuff. But any particular topics you want to talk about, yeah, I'm happy to discuss in more detail. Yes, I appreciate your time. Long video, but I think these videos are the most important ones because we have a community together. So I think this is the most important stuff. So appreciate your time. Hope that's been insightful. Any more questions or queries or anything on this sort of stuff that I've spoken about you want more on, let me know in the comments. Yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.